The time is 12 o'clock. Good afternoon. Here's iPower 102.7 FM Media News. I am Inioluwa Adekoya. First, the headlines. Rugipo staff members protest. Presidency debunks tax laws policy. And on the foreign and African Union set to resolute oversight slavery and colonization. And in sports, Super Eagles set to face Jordan. Details of this and more in a moment. Please stay tuned. Glad to have you back, and now the news in detail, beginning from Ondo State. The Academic and Non-Academic Staff Union of the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, OWO, has embarked on days protest over the non-payment of salaries. Speaking with iPower 102.7 FM, the staff members urged the state government to come to their aid as non-payments of salaries has a negative impact on their sources of livelihood. Olukemi Ajibola has the details.
The members of staff, academics and non-academics have placards displaying their wants like "Enough is enough," "We want the new minimum wage," "We reject 80,000 minimum wage," among others. In their complaints, the members of staff want to be upgraded to their contemporaries.
Àwọn akẹgbẹ́ wa wọ́n gba 30,000 naira. Ìjọba fún wa. Àwọn akẹgbẹ́ wa gba 70,000 naira. Ìjọba fún wa. A ti bẹ̀bẹ̀. A ti kọ̀wé. A ti ṣèpàdé. What the promise.
The chairman of the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Polytechnics, Owo Chapter, Nuruddin Saka Olokungboye, maintained that the suffering is too much.
Oṣù yìí ló pé ọdún kan àti oṣù mẹ́ta tí wọ́n ti ń san minimum wage ní Ondo State tí wọ́n fún wa. Kílẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa. Torí ẹ̀ la ṣe sọ wípé à ń bẹ̀bẹ̀, à ń rawọ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ sí gómìnà pé ó ti sú wa. Bá a ṣe ń ṣe ìwọ́de yìí, September oṣù kẹsàn-án ọdún tó kọjá la ìgbowódé ní gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà Rufus Giwa níbí nìkan la ìgbà 18,000 naira. President wa Bọ́lá Tinubu tó di president, wọ́n ṣe àfikún ní owó ńláńlá sí owó tó wọ àwọn àpò ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀. Kò sí state tó gbà kéré ju tí ò gba 100% allocation. ṣùgbọ́n 18,000 naira tí wọ́n ti pàtì láti 2019 òun là ń gbà ó láṣẹ ń ké gbàjarì ebi ń pa wá ebi ń pa wá. bá a ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ẹni tó jẹ́ driver ní ministry pẹ̀lú 73,000 naira Ondo State pẹ̀lú other element ìwọ ni rent ìwọ ni medical tí wọ́n bá papọ̀ owó driver ó ju owó level 7 ní polytechnic lọ. What is our right? Pay us minimum! Pay us minimum! Pay us minimum!
Others who spoke with our correspondents pleaded with governments.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this struggle, we feel that it has been long that we have been in this struggle, and our legitimate right has been held on by the government, either by the state government or by the government of Rufus-Giwa Polytechnic, and we are suffering in Rufus-Giwa Polytechnic. All we are seeing now is that our legitimate right should be given us, and the respect should be accorded them. So, and now we want all nationwide to see and to know that we are struggling as a staff of Rufus-Giwa Polytechnic or in this polytechnic community, that we are struggling to eat, even to feed, to transport ourselves to and fro from work. So, and this are all our agitation that this new minimum wage be given to us as well.
The protest, which started today, is said to continue until government intervention. Olukemi Ajibola reporting for iPower 102.7 FM News.
And now to tax matters. The Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee has dismissed the false viral video claiming the new tax law will take effect in 2027 and an impose a 25% tax on funds meant for building materials and other transactions. Reports say the committee clarified that the new Tax Act 2025 had already commenced and contains no provision imposing a 25% tax on construction funds, bank balances, and business expenses. According to the committee, the Act instead introduced measures aimed at reducing housing costs, encouraging real estate development, and supporting small businesses and low-income renters. Key provisions, according to the statement, include a value-added exemption on land, building, and rent, as well as input VAT credits for contractors to reduce construction cost. And now to electoral matters. The Senate has said the empirical data guided its decision to make the electronic transmission of election results discretionary rather than mandatory in the ongoing reform of Nigeria's electoral governance framework. Leader of the Senate, Senator Okpayemi Bamidele, clarified the position of the upper chamber through his Directorate of Media and Public Affairs, saying lawmakers come with huge obligations globally, and the Senate cannot discharge such responsibility to the detriment of the citizenry. The upper chamber added that the decision was based on the stark realities of the country and not on emotional sentiment after due consultation and engagement with principal actors in the country's communication and power sector, among others. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has said that lawmakers may review the date set for 2027 presidential election. Meanwhile, suspected bandits have attacked a Kafu community, a remote settlement in the Patiji local government area of Kwara State, kidnapping 4 people. The attacker kidnapped 4 residents, including 1 man, a woman, 2 female children during the operation that occurred at about 1:30 a.m. yesterday. Report says the assailants on arrival opened sporadic gunshots into the air, thereby causing panic among residents who scampered for safety. The assailant operated unchecked without resistance before they eventually whisked their victim to an unknown destination. This media news is coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM in Inioluwa. Still to come on the Foreign and African Union to set resolute over slavery and colonization. And in sports, Super Eagles set to face Jordan.
Whether you tune in for breaking news, in-depth analysis, or community update, Hyper 102.7 FM remains your most trusted source. Because when it comes to news, the truth,
MTK. Welcome back, and now to foreign matters. African Union leaders meeting at a two-day summit in Addis Ababa have adopted a resolution that describes slavery, deportation and colonialism as genocide and crimes against the people of Africa. Chairman of the African Union Commission, Mahmoud Yusuf, also called for an end to what he called the extermination of Palestinian people. Member states agreed to designate November 30th as the African Day of tribute to African martyrs and victims of the transatlantic slave trade, colonization, and apartheid. Still talking foreign matters, Israel's decision to resume the land registration processes in the occupied West Bank for the first time since 1967 will facilitate the dispossession and displacement of Palestinians in violation of the international law. The land registration process, also known as settlement of land title, has been reinstated after nearly 6 decades following the government's approval yesterday of a proposal submitted by far-right Minister of Finance Bezalel Smotrich, Minister of Justice Yariv Levin, and Minister of Defense Israel Katz. While Israel has increased the confiscation of Palestinian lands through military orders, with activity reaching record level in 2025. The new move gives Israel a legal avenue that systematizes the disposition of Palestinian lands and further Israeli settlements. And now to the sporting arena. Super Eagles of Nigeria will take on Jordan in an international friendly in Amman by March. Jordan will use the friendly as a part of their preparation for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Nigerians' availability for the game will however depend on FIFA's impending rule on the country's eligibility protest against Democratic Republic of Congo. The West Africans are also in talks with Iran for another friendly slated for March. To end the iPower 102.7 FM Media News, let's take another look at the main points. We told you in the course of the bulletin that the Academic and Non-Academic Staff Union of Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Owo has embarked on days protest over the non-payment of salaries. We also informed you that the Senate has said that empirical data guided its decision to make the electronic transmission of election results discretionary rather than mandatory in the ongoing reform of Nigeria's electoral governance framework. On the foreign scene, we informed you that African Union leaders meeting at a two-day summit in Addis Ababa have adopted